Hey folks, Bitcoin Cash is going to be the topic of discussion in this video. Bitcoin Cash is a prominent cryptocurrency that currently holds the position as the fourth largest cryptocurrency when measured by market capitalization. This video will provide you some background information on Bitcoin Cash. We'll compare Bitcoin Cash to Bitcoin itself, and we'll conclude with a recommendation about whether or not you should be invested in Bitcoin Cash. Bitcoin itself was introduced to the world more than 10 years ago, and it is presently receiving a lot of attention from mainstream media as well as the curiosity of individual investors. Not only is it the first cryptocurrency ever created, but it was also the most costly and most widely used. Having said that, it's certainly not flawless. The scalability of cryptocurrencies has been and continues to be one of the most significant challenges they face. To be more exact, it was the size limit of 1 megabyte that was placed on each block of transactions that caused the issue. This constraint causes a significant delay in the time it takes to execute transactions and reduces the total number of transactions that can be processed by the network. Bitcoin Cash is an entirely separate entity. The block size can be increased from 1 megabyte to 8 megabytes in this version. However, in the other version, the maximum allowed increase is only 1 megabyte. Its primary objective is to raise the maximum number of transactions that may be handled by the network at any one time. It's hoped that Bitcoin Cash will eventually be able to compete with the amount of transactions that are processed by industrial heavyweights, such as PayPal and Visa. Visa is able to handle up to 24,000 transactions per second, while the typical number of transactions processed in a single day is about 4,000. Bitcoin, which has a maximum capacity of 1 megabyte block size, can handle 3 to 7 transactions per second. This is despite the fact that the block size is limited to 1 megabyte. Bitcoin Cash is able to handle around 61 transactions per second, since its block size is 8 times higher than that of Bitcoin. When compared to a centralized payment processing business like Visa, it's clear that Bitcoin and even Bitcoin Cash do not even come close to standing their ground as viable options for an electronic payment processing system. Now, let's take a look at the origins of Bitcoin Cash. Bitcoin Cash was first made available to the public in August of 2017, and since then, it has grown to become the most popular cryptocurrency that's based on the Bitcoin network. This effort is being done in order to expand the size of blocks and handle greater and greater numbers of transactions per second. On the other hand, the restriction of 1 megabyte placed on each side of the blockchain in the Bitcoin network was imposed to reduce the likelihood of spam and other potential security concerns. The 1 megabyte restriction began to cause blocks to build up as Bitcoin's popularity increased, which resulted in an increase in the amount of time it took to complete the transactions. Around May 2017, a user stated that he had been waiting for confirmation for as long as 4 days, which is when the problems began to spiral out of control. Users were given the option to pay significant transaction fees in order to hasten the confirmation process. However, by using this approach, Bitcoin is fundamentally prevented from being a convenient mode of payment, particularly when it comes to transactions involving smaller amounts of money. For example, purchasing a sandwich or a couple of coffees with Bitcoin was just impossible at that point in time. A transaction charge of more than $20 will be added to the purchase of a coffee that costs $3, which of course no one would do. The Bitcoin community has considered the problem and come up with a potential solution. The concept of segregated witness, or a component of a solution that utilizes segregated witnesses, refers to the practice of keeping some of the data in files that are kept outside of the blockchain. The developers assert that it would liberate a significant amount of storage space. The time it takes to confirm transactions will drastically decrease as a result of the block feeding more transitions. When compared to the built-in super electronic currency system presented in the Bitcoin white paper, which is an endless method of operation, many people held to believe that it was only a more sophisticated temporary solution. A group of engineers came to the conclusion that it was best to discard the holy protocol and raise the maximum size to a block of 8 megabytes. Because this was a significant shift, they were forced to create their own network that was independent from the one used by the original Bitcoin. The beginning of the arduous labor is scheduled to take place on August 1st, 2017, according to the announcement. For those of you who are unaware, a hard fork is where the one and only mechanism that developers are currently aware of for updating the software that runs Bitcoin. The developers serve the network and effectively establish a new blockchain operating under a distinct set of guidelines. Both the original cryptocurrency and the forked version have blockchains that are identical all the way up to the point where they split. Both networks can be considered to exist separately from their perspective. Everyone who possessed Bitcoins before the hard fork was entitled to the same number of Bitcoin Cash tokens after the split took place. Investors jumped on the bandwagon of the newly introduced cryptocurrency almost immediately. By the time the first day was up, Bitcoin Cash had surpassed Ethereum to become the third most valuable cryptocurrency, after Bitcoin and Litecoin. Bitcoin Cash has a transaction fee that is much lower than Bitcoin's. Transactions using Bitcoin Cash were determined to be 99% cheaper than the identical transactions using the original Bitcoin network, according to a study that was conducted in December 2017. At the very tail end of 2017, individuals spent an average of $8 in transaction fees in order to shift their Bitcoin tokens. Hard forks in the Bitcoin realm come with a few drawbacks that should be considered. Hard forks are always occurrences that cause quite a bit of unease, and many people think that they violate the fundamental notion of the immutability of the blockchain and are in direct opposition to the idea that code should be seen as law. When it comes to this particular hard fork, many users are concerned that the amount of computing power required to process large blocks will price out smaller miners. This could potentially lead to the decision-making power being centralized in the hands of large corporations that can afford more and better equipment. Last but not least, given that everyone had Bitcoins in their possession before the split, they were all given an equal amount of Bitcoin Cash tokens. There were many who were afraid that this plate was nothing more than an elaborate ruse to make money, due to the fact that the hard fork made it feasible to execute 2 transactions from a single wallet using the same set of keys. It did in fact generate scenarios that were analogous to those involving double spending. Up to this point, our experiences with Bitcoin Cash have included a mixed bag of benefits and disadvantages. The issue that arises now is, should I make an investment in Bitcoin Cash? Bitcoin currency has been in existence for a considerable amount of time. In addition to this, it's already proven itself to be an exceptionally powerful cryptocurrency. Bitcoin Cash has become the solution for many people all of the problems that were caused by the original Bitcoin, and it continues to garner new supporters on a regular basis. Our investment and trading operations in general involve some level of risk. When it comes to making this decision, you should base it on your findings of your own study. Where can I get my hands on some Bitcoin Cash? Because Bitcoin Cash is still a relatively new cryptocurrency, it's still not yet supported by all of the main exchanges. Coinbase is the most robust Bitcoin Cash trading platform that's currently available. In the event that you're interested, use the link provided below, and if you spend $100 or more, you'll receive $310 in return. Where can I store Bitcoin Cash? There are a number of mobile and desktop wallets available, such as Jaxx and Bitcoin Unlimited, in which you're able to store Bitcoin Cash. However, I would suggest using a hardware wallet such as Trezor or Ledger Nano S. So, what are your thoughts on the cryptocurrency known as Bitcoin Cash? Does it resolve the issue of Bitcoin's inability to scale in your eyes? If you thought this video was entertaining, please share your thoughts in the area provided below. We ask you to give this channel a like and subscribe to it too. See ya.